Hello! In this video, we will have a look at the standard model for object death, which is modeled using a probability of object survival. As we mentioned earlier, in multiple object tracking, object death is when the object leaves the surveillance area. So in other words, when the object disappears. Now actually, we do not model object death explicitly. Instead, it is modeled implicitly by modeling object survival. And object survival is when an object that appeared in some previous time step remains in the surveillance area. In other words, survival means that the object does not disappear. Specifically, the probability of survival, denoted PS, is a function of the object state, and it models the probability that an object with state xk survives to the next time step k plus 1. So what we have is the probability that the object remains in the surveillance area. This probability of survival can be modeled in many different ways, and we will have a look at one common one. Arguably, one of the most common ways to model the probability of survival is to let it be large inside the surveillance area and zero outside. We can have a look at what this means by considering the 2D LiDAR sensor again. In this example, the probability of survival was set to 0.99 inside the surveillance area and 0 outside. And this is visualized on the right. The surveillance area is the field of view of the stationary sensor, which is a semicircle. In light blue, inside the field of view, we have probability of survival 0.99, and outside the field of view, the probability of survival is 0. It might seem strange that the probability of survival inside the field of view is not equal to 1. The reason that PS typically is smaller than 1 inside the surveillance area has to do with clutter, and the possibility that clutter leads to an incorrect object estimate, so-called false objects. If the probability of survival was 1, such false objects would persist in the surveillance area much longer than necessary. And by setting the probability of survival to something smaller than 1, false objects can be rejected quicker. And we will learn more about this in later videos. Okay, that was a quick video about the probability of survival. Now keep in mind that typically in MOT, the probability of survival has to be tuned to the sensor and to the tracking application. One setting will not necessarily work in all circumstances.